was a chilly Sunday night when I decided to take my 14-year-old son, Elias, to the movies. The crisp air outside felt refreshing, perfect for a night out. As we drove through the city, the neon lights of the streets flashed by, casting a colorful glow over the bustling sidewalks. The coffee shop, the ice cream stand, and the arcade were all filled with people, each enjoying their own night out. But tonight, something felt off. "Tonight's gonna be fun, Mom," Elias exclaimed, bouncing excitedly in his seat, eager for the film. His excitement was contagious, and I couldn't help but smile. I was always cautious, especially when it came to Elias. Raising him as a single mother had made me hyper-aware of my surroundings. Every street, every corner, I noticed everything. It was second nature to me. And that night, as we neared the theater, something started to feel off. As we pulled into the parking lot of the theater, I couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. A black SUV had been following us for a while, making the same turns I did, staying just a bit too close. At first, I told myself it was just a coincidence. Maybe I'm overthinking it, I whispered to myself, trying to brush off the uneasy feeling building in my chest. But Elias, always observant, noticed it too. "Mom, that car behind us. I think it's following us," he said, his voice sounding uneasy. I told him not to worry, but my heartbeat quickened. To test my suspicion, I pulled into a coffee shop parking lot. The SUV stopped a few feet away. The man in the black cap and sunglasses sat inside, unmoving, staring at us. My gut told me something was wrong, but I didn't want to alarm Elias. I pulled out of the coffee shop parking lot and headed to the theater, trying to shake off the feeling. But as I drove into the theater lot, the SUV suddenly turned away. I breathed a small sigh of relief, though my pulse still raced. Maybe I'm just overthinking this, I thought, trying to convince myself everything was fine. The inside of the theater smelled of buttered popcorn and caramel. The crowd buzzed with the excitement of the upcoming movie. I tried to focus on the night ahead, but the strange feeling lingered. It wasn't just the SUV. Something about the whole night felt off. As we walked to the concession stand, I noticed a man standing near the back, taking pictures with his phone. I froze. It was the same man from the SUV, the same black cap, the same sunglasses. I quickly turned my head, trying not to let him notice me. But I could feel my heart pounding. When I glanced back, I saw that he had lowered his phone, trying to blend in with the crowd. I felt a cold shiver run down my spine. Why would he be taking pictures of us? I thought, my mind racing. But before I could dwell on it too long, Elias was pulling me toward the theater entrance, eager to find our seats. The movie started, and I tried to settle in, but the unease wouldn't go away. A few minutes in, Elias whispered to me, "Mom, I need to use the restroom." I nodded and gave him a quick smile. "Hurry back." As soon as Elias walked out, the sense of dread crept in again. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. I tried to focus on the movie, but my mind kept drifting back to the man from the concession stand and the unsettling feeling I had when I saw him. Minutes passed. 5 minutes. 10 minutes. 15. Where was Elias? Finally, Elias returned. But when he stepped into the theater, I could see that something was wrong. His face was pale, his eyes wide with fear. He didn't seem like himself. "Elias?" I called softly. "Are you okay?" He hesitated before answering, his voice shaky. "Mom." When I was in the restroom, a man approached me. My heart dropped into my stomach. "What do you mean? What did he say?" Elias shifted uncomfortably in his seat. "He said you sent him to get me." My mind raced. "What? Why would someone say that?" He told me to come with him, Elias continued, his voice barely above a whisper. I grabbed him by the shoulders, my grip tightening. What did you do? I got scared. I didn't say anything. I just ran back to the theater, Elias replied, his voice trembling. I didn't hesitate. My hand was already on my phone, dialing 911. I needed to know what was going on, and I needed help fast. The police arrived quickly, and after taking our statements, they reviewed the security footage. It confirmed my worst fear. The man from the SUV, the one who had been taking pictures earlier, had been waiting outside the restroom. He wasn't just some random person. He was part of something much darker. The police launched an investigation and soon discovered that it was likely part of a human trafficking operation, targeting teenagers in public places. These people would scout their victims and strike when they least expected it. As we left the theater, I held Elias tightly in my arms, my heart still racing from the close call. Elias, if any stranger ever talks to you again, you just run. Do you understand? He nodded, the weight of the situation settling heavily on his young shoulders. We walked to the car, but my mind wouldn't rest. There was still something nagging at me, something I couldn't shake. Was the man alone? Or was there someone else still watching us from the shadows? It was just another normal night at the movie theater. The usual buzz of people chatting, the neon lights glowing bright, and the crisp air outside blowing gently through the streets. The theater was bustling as always, with people lining up for tickets, snacks, and their evening entertainment. It was a cool night, the perfect weather for a movie night out. I was behind the counter, doing what I do best, helping customers, serving snacks, and making sure everything ran smoothly. Arden was by my side, always friendly, always working hard. At 22, she had been here longer than me, and she was the one everyone loved. She had this natural ability to connect with people, chatting with the regulars and keeping everything in order. Tonight, everything seemed just as it should be, until he walked in. He wasn't an unusual customer, a man in his mid-40s, wearing a dark blue hoodie and jeans. He walked up to the counter casually, no different from the hundreds of people who'd passed through our doors. His face was calm, expressionless, just another person in a crowded theater, blending in seamlessly. "Hey there, what can I get for you?" Arden asked with a smile as she greeted him. He ordered a cold drink and popcorn, nothing out of the ordinary. But as he stepped closer to the counter, I couldn't help but feel a strange sense of déjà vu. There was something oddly familiar about him, but I couldn't place it. I thought, maybe he's one of Arden's old customers or someone she knew. She did seem pretty comfortable with him. I brushed it off. It was probably nothing. Maybe she knew him from before. I had no reason to suspect anything. Yet. As Arden turned her back to get his drink, I noticed the man's movements. They were quick but deliberate. He slipped a small pouch from his pocket and poured some fine white powder into one of the drinks she was preparing. I blinked, trying to process what I had just seen. He didn't just add something to his drink, did he? I looked closer, and sure enough, the powder settled at the bottom of the cup, undisturbed. At first, I thought maybe I was seeing things. Maybe it was just some sugar or salt. But that was when I noticed the way he glanced over at me. He had a look on his face, like he knew I saw something, but he didn't care. Arden handed the drink to him with her usual cheerful smile. "Here's your order," she said, completely unaware of the subtle exchange that had just taken place. I froze, a sick feeling creeping into my stomach. But the man wasn't done yet. He casually placed the second drink back on the counter. I ordered too much. "Here, you can have this one," he said with a fake laugh, his tone light as if nothing unusual had happened. Arden, ever polite, didn't think twice. "Thanks," she said. taking the drink he gave her and setting it aside, probably for later. Something was wrong. I could feel it in the pit of my stomach. I didn't know if it was the way he was acting, the fact that I had seen him slip something into the drink, or the familiarity between him and Arden. But I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. Minutes passed. Arden started acting strange. Her movements slowed and her smile faded. She rubbed her head as though trying to shake off some dizziness. She seemed disoriented. "Arden? Are you okay?" I asked, stepping closer to her. She blinked rapidly, trying to focus. "What's happening?" she whispered, her voice low and confused. The man noticed too. He took a step forward, concern in his voice. "You don't look so good. Maybe you need some fresh air?" I watched in disbelief as Arden nodded, unsteadily agreeing. She wasn't even questioning it. She just seemed out of it, like she was in a fog. The man gently steadied her, guiding her toward the exit. Something clicked in my brain, and I realized the truth. He hadn't just added powder to the drink. He swapped it with the one Arden had prepared for him. That's why she was acting this way. He drugged her. Without thinking, I rushed toward them. "Arden? What's wrong?" I asked, but my voice was sharp with suspicion now. I wasn't buying his story, not for a second. As we reached the back door, I saw Arden was barely holding herself up. She was stumbling, and the man was gently guiding her toward the door. It was too quiet, too calculated. I wasn't going to let him get away with whatever he was planning. Just then, I saw her. Arden's face, pale and trembling, was enough to make me move. Something was wrong. I didn't hesitate for a second. I darted to the phone and immediately dialed the manager. "Something's wrong," I said urgently. "Get here now. I think he's trying to take her somewhere." I kept my eyes on them as I spoke, and that's when I saw it. The man's calm expression faltered. He realized I had caught on. He didn't say another word. Without a glance back, he released Arden and vanished into the dark. Arden was given medical attention immediately. She had been drugged, and her body was still reacting to it. The police arrived shortly after, and we all sat down to review the security footage. The footage showed everything: the man entering, his quick actions with the drink, and then how he tried to lead Arden away. His face was hidden under the hoodie, but his pattern matched several incidents in different places. The police started investigating, linking him to a possible serial predator who targeted young employees working late at night. As I walked to the car after everything settled down, I couldn't stop thinking about what had happened. I was thankful we caught him before anything worse happened. But there was still that lingering feeling. Had he been alone? Or was someone else still watching?